In this video, I'll be showing you how to install TrueNAS Community Edition, or previously known as TrueNAS SCALE. TrueNAS is a free open source NAS or network attached storage platform that allows its users to essentially turn any computer into a server used for backup, storing files, running applications, and much more. To start, a few items are needed before we can begin. The first item will be a host computer which we will install TrueNAS onto. And the second item will be a USB device that we will flash an ISO image onto. With that, the first step in this process is to navigate to the official TrueNAS website linked below. From here, we will hover over the Products dropdown and select TrueNAS Community Edition, which is essentially just a rebranded version of TrueNAS SCALE. Afterwards, we'll scroll down a little and click the Download button. Here, you can choose to sign up for the newsletter or just simply click the No Thanks button, which will reveal the official download button. Now you can see it gives us two versions of TrueNAS to install, and you can pick whichever one you feel fit. For this example though, I'm just going to be picking the most up-to-date one, which is the 25.10. Next, you will also need to navigate to the following website and download Millennia Etcher. For context, this application will be used to flash the TrueNAS ISO file that we just downloaded onto our USB stick. With all the downloads now complete, we can then go ahead and open Millennia Etcher. Within, we will first select the TrueNAS ISO file. Afterwards, we will ensure that our USB device is selected and click Flash. Now this may take some time, however once the flash is complete we can then unplug our USB device and plug it back into a computer that we wish to install TrueNAS on. Now typically your computer should boot right into TrueNAS Install like you see, however if this is not the case for you then you'll most likely need to go into your computer's boot options and manually choose the option to boot from the USB. Once you're on this screen we can then go ahead and click the first option to install. Next we will have to choose a drive that will be solely dedicated to booting up TrueNAS. For me this will be the drive located second to the bottom. Now it is important to note that this screen may vary from user to user depending on how many drives you actually have plugged in. Also, although my boot drive has a terabyte of storage, this amount of space is not really needed and honestly a waste. This is because the sole purpose of this drive is for boot, so my recommendation would be just to use a drive that can comfortably hold the TrueNAS boot files on. After we select the boot drive, you will then get a pop-up reminding you that proceeding will actually delete all files on selected drive. If you're okay with this, then we can proceed by clicking yes. For the Web UI authentication method section, we will go ahead and select the first option. Here, we will then be prompted to enter in our root password. Feel free to make this whatever you'd like, however, just make sure you remember this as we'll need it when we log into the TrueNAS UI. And finally, you'll be asked about Legacy Boot. Now this option again will vary, however, 99% of us will select yes. The only reason someone would actually select no is if they have like an ancient computer that does not support UEFI. Afterwards, TrueNAS will begin to install and this will take some time, so feel free to step away until it is complete. You know the install is complete when you are brought to this screen. From here, we will select Reboot option to solidify the changes made. Awesome, now that our device is rebooted, we can see a terminal-like screen has appeared. Here, we'll list the web address that your server is running on. With that, we can take this web address and plug it into any browser of your choosing. This will then bring up the TrueNAS user interface, indicating that the install was successful. To initially enter the UI, we will enter the default username of TrueNAS admin, with the password being whatever you set previously. Congrats, you're officially in the TrueNAS UI. Now, one of the first things you will want to do is go to General Settings and set the time zone to match yours. Next, if you're like me and you already have some hard drives plugged in, then we will want to set up our storage. To do so, we'll go to the Storage tab and select Pool. Within the wizard, feel free to name your pool whatever you'd like and click Next. Now here you will select the type of layout you'd like. This will vary greatly, so I suggest doing some additional research to pinpoint the exact layout that fits you. For example, if you have two of the same drives and you want data redundancy, then you would go with Mirror. However, in this example, I'll be choosing Stripe because I actually only have one drive in my device at this time. From here, everything else will be default, so we can just click Save and go to Review, then Create Pool. Now that a pool has been created, we are now actually able to store data on our TrueNAS. Now one of the easiest way to do this is through SMB sharing. To set this up, we will first need to create a new dataset specifically for SMB sharing. Next, I suggest creating a new user account whose only access is for this SMB sharing folder. With SMB sharing enabled and user credentials created, we can now boot up a different device that resides on the same Wi-Fi network. To access the SMB folder, simply paste the TrueNAS's IP address into the search bar of a file explorer and enter the credentials we previously made. And just like that, you can now drag and drop files from a separate device to be stored on your TrueNAS server. Another cool thing about TrueNAS is it comes preloaded with a ton of apps. Now, I already have a ton of videos on specific TrueNAS app installs, however, in general, I recommend first creating an overarching dataset to store all app data. Then within the dataset, you can create additional ones for each app. For example, if I wanted to install Jellyfin, I would create a Jellyfin dataset. Afterwards, we can navigate to the apps page and click on Check Available Apps. This will then contain a long list of applications that you can actually run on your server. Now just for this example, I will just go ahead and search Jellyfin and assign the pool I want its contents to be stored on. Now again, since I already made a video on Jellyfin, I won't really be going into the specifics, but essentially this is just a configuration page, and once everything is set, all you have to do is just click install. Finally, the last topic I will be covering in this video can be found within services. Here you can see SMB is already enabled and running since we previously set that up, but there's also other services such as SSH and UPS that you can enable. Personally, I feel having UPS is a vital one to have, as this prevents you from losing data in the scenario of like a power outage. As you can see, this is also pretty simple to set up, and it works by allowing your server to gracefully shut down if it detects no source of power. With that, you've officially set up and configured your TrueNAS server. I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching.